I want this to be as interactive as possible, so once the recording stops, feel free to utilise the chat, get the chat going, ask any questions, and hopefully ask any questions of the young people if they can stay on, and Mary as well, just around about broader SCQF and how the programme works in St Andrews as well. But just before we move on to listen from the young people themselves and Mary, a couple of things I wanted to talk about just on the PowerPoint that you can see in front of you there. Just to let you know, if you're not part of the SCQF School Ambassador programme, then we'd love for your school to be involved and join the likes of St Andrews and Last Wade in becoming school ambassadors and working towards a recognition programme. So if you could move on to the next slide, I'll just go through 3 or 4 different slides and give a bit more information, and then I'll pass on. So the programme's been running for a number of years now, and particularly the last couple of years, it's really grown as we've been able to reach more schools across more local authorities. But essentially, the programme is designed as a tool for schools to be able to get pupils involved in conversations, get parents involved in conversations around about the SCQF, helping them understand qualifications, particularly how national qualifications compare to different types of qualifications, whether they're SQA or not. And as part of that, we've helped schools develop different learner pathways and create different examples of pathways within different subjects, and creating that through senior phase. Mary, if you can move on the next one on for me. So two really strong aspects to the programme, very much based on pupils taking the lead and taking ownership, and we're going to hear from the young people themselves, which is great. But it is about schools training these young people up, using the resources that we've developed, and from there, the young people have the remit of engaging parents, engaging peers, working with local partners, employers that are working with the schools well, helping upskill them so that they're aware of different types of qualifications. And supporting staff to look at the range of different qualifications that could be offered in school as well as one of the aspects too. But the programme's flexible. Whilst it is the remit for young people to start engaging pupils and parents in conversations, they can choose whatever method works best for them. So whether that's social media takeovers, videos, blogs, podcasts, entirely up to them. Mary, last slide, I think. So just a quick update, we've got 205 schools involved across all local authorities in Scotland, so well over half the secondary schools in Scotland involved. But one of the best things for me to see is that we've got so many schools all being creative, innovative and collaborating together, sharing ideas, sharing resources, and that's one of the real strong points in terms of schools working together. Always a high demand to be involved, but if your school is not a school ambassador yet or would like to work a little bit more on creating that capacity within school, please feel free to get in touch, and I'll share my details towards the end of this too. One last thing before we move on is just to highlight our Ambassadors Padlet. So we created the Padlet just over a year ago, and a really good, useful tool for schools to be able to share ideas, share resources, share examples about what young people are doing in school, but also sharing ideas on new qualifications and new pathways that have been developed. So no one's starting to develop any extra resources. A lot of these qualifications have resources with them as well. So a great place to start. The technically minded of you can scan the QR codes. If not, you can Google SCQF Padlet and it's the first thing that comes up. But I would definitely encourage you to check it out and look at what's going on across the country. So without further delay, I will hand over to the interesting people who are the pupils and Miss Keane, and they're going to tell you a little bit about their story, and over to you guys.
Okay, I'm just going to introduce them all. This is just a small section of our ambassador team. Some are away, we're in the middle of prelims. So kindly, they've come along. We've also got our head teacher because it's very much a team, and their year head over there as well because it's very much a team. Each of them is going to take you through a bit of the PowerPoint. They're very tired. They've all had 2 or 3 prelims on today. So fingers crossed, but they're all very, very able. So I'll move on to the first slide.
Well, we started SCQF when Miss Keane helped us train and understand all the different pathways we could take at our age and as we get older throughout school. And we just became comfortable as a group of each other. And we also wrote our mission statement and what's our rules in the SCQF.
So it's one of the things that Jack said was I was quite lucky because I taught most of them. So some of them just came in as a friendship group. So one thing that was really, really good and very important was we formed this team that were very good friends. So it kind of became very natural, but it's kind of snowballed because people have added along as we've gone along. But one of the first things that we started off doing was we asked the staff what their pathway through their career was. A lot of them hadn't gone straight from school to school to school. A lot had maybe gone away and done something totally different. And so we just made sure we took it from there. We then sort of met with each department and came up with what each pathway would be appropriate for youngsters to take. And the kids were very much involved with that. They were all assigned a group or a department and they worked alongside them. And then they put together a mission statement. We'll show you that in a wee second. They branded themselves. Before we got these beautiful badges, I'll just show one there. Very good. But we got these beautiful badges. We actually got badges made because we didn't know we would get these, and they were pretty much assemblies, and they branded themselves. But this is their mission statement. Who would like to talk about that? Jackie, up for?
So the first thing in our mission statement is to promote the SCQF pathways, and the second one is to be a role model within the school and show every pathway that counts. And the third one is to inform parents and carers about differences in qualifications, and the final one is to support lifelong learning.
So sadly, two of the young people that are in the group who can't make it tonight, both of them are actually doing apprenticeships. So they aren't actually doing the conventional going from National 5 to higher to advanced hires and leaving. Some of them have actually stayed on and they're doing sort of an extra part of the actual framework, and they're actually doing their apprenticeship, and it's been very well integrated. In my higher class, for example, there's two that are away doing that and they've successfully carried it on. But I think as a team, it's been very useful. So I'll move on to the next bit. Okay, so it's a parental engagement, which we have worked incredibly hard on. Jackie.
So basically, we got ambassadors to go to every parents' night and interact with the parents to get their opinions and get some of their stories. After that, we sent a newsletter home for the parents to read and to basically tell them what the SCQF is and all the different pathways involved. After that, we then had an information evening which had parents to further build their knowledge of the SCQF system and the things that we offer at the school. We also gave out study skill packs to all students and parents, which would help them to study and maybe do better in their exams with materials that they might not have had.
They're being a wee bit modest. They put together 900 study skill packs and they went to various classes explaining how their exams were coming up. Not only were their exams coming up, but options would be coming up, and basically not to lose faith and just to move on. And they gave them they actually made and put together a study skills evening after school where fourth years came along, and they cascaded to fourth years along with most of the school. We had every single principal teacher came along and gave how they would do it in biology, how they would do it in geography, and it was actually coordinated by the ambassadors. And what they did was they talked about the different pathways. And at parents' night, the last parents' night, I seem to remember, they were the biggest hit because they had all the free pens to give away. So all the parents came along to our stall because of the free pens. And what else were you giving away free? Bredos. They were giving away sweets as well. But they were very, very successful. They engaged a lot with the parents. We actually did find that the hardest to do because we're obviously in the school. So it was actually making sure that they were at every parents' night and basically making sure there was a sort of bridge between home and the school. And it was tricky, and we're still making sure that we're trying to find ways to actually still improve on that. And I think that's something that we're evaluating at the moment. So I'll just put the next one. Pupil engagement. Aaron?
Yeah, we spoke at assemblies about the SCQF and the different pathways you can take. We also held this study skills evening. We helped showcase the new courses that will be available next year. We spoke over the tannoys about the SCQF.
That's good. Yeah, excellent. So one of the things we did, we've obviously got my head teacher up there watching. He's come to take part. You can ask loads of questions, very knowledgeable. He'll answer loads. But one of the things that we actually did, we looked at actually introducing quite a lot of new courses up until we started really doing this. I think when we spoke to all the middle managers, we really had to get them on board with us. And as soon as we got them on board, we've actually got so many new courses that are come along. We've got criminology, that's looking absolutely amazing. We've got bakery, which they're actually going to talk about on the tannoy tomorrow. We've got baking, we've got barista, and it's a whole diverse set. We are very, very lucky because we have a very, very, very active partnership base in the school. And they have been absolutely a total godsend to us, because they have directed us in a lot of ways for youngsters that maybe weren't forming the sort of conventional. So we've called on them a lot, and they have been absolutely amazing in helping us. So, and that's really all we've got to do. So we're willing to take some questions. Anything you'd like to ask us?
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Mary, and thank you to the young people. I've got a couple of questions, but what I'll do then is, if you want to stop sharing that presentation, Mary, what I'll do is I'll stop recording and we can just open it up for some Q&A. But one of the questions I had was,